Change is hard. Change requires a mixture of incorporating new technologies, but also human engineering, process engineering, which can be a challenge. None of this is easy, which actually can be an advantage for our customers, because if it was easy, everyone would do it. You need to do everything you can to try and save the cost of scrapping tools. This was important before, but with the cost of carbide, it really has increased the importance. It is important that you minimise any scrap through that process. And the less scrap tools you have, all of that just adds to your margin across the wider production of your cutting tools. But in general, if you're seeing a scrap rate more than 2 or 3%, you have a big problem. And these days, customers are trying to push their scrap rate even lower. And using some of the product portfolio that we have, it's allowing customers to do that. So simulation is an important step and was a major innovation that Anker started many years ago. And it really ensures that when you're starting with a new type of cutting tool especially, so if you haven't done this type of cutting tool before, making sure that you simulate to make sure that there's no impacts, making sure that the process is optimized is important before you actually go to the actual grinding process, and that alone reduces significant amounts of scrap. An important element of preventing scrap is the utilisation of in-process measurement solutions that we have, whether it's probing or using our advanced laser ultra. It does mean that you can hold stability through the process on long batch runs, and even in regrinding solutions, for example, where you might only be regrinding 5 cutting tools, being able to use that probe to get in there and measure it properly means that you're not going to scrap the tool at the end because you've made a mistake somewhere in the grinding process. Regrinding will become even more popular than it is today. That is because with the increased cost of carbide, when you purchase a cutting tool and 50% of the cost is carbide or 40% of the cost is carbide, you can actually remove that part of the cost of the cutting tool for a regrinding solution. So how do you actually make money out of regrinding? So you can talk about best practice, which is looking at more advanced solutions around automating the process in mixed batches. So for example, using our RFID solution, which basically we've got a holder that can handle 6 different diameters that you can put onto a pallet with a chaotic regrinding capability. And that means that you can actually pre-program the tools to go in there and you can run lights out, mixed batch, different types of tools, production over a full shift effectively using our RoboMate. You can optimize that even more by looking at ways that you can adopt QR technology on the actual shank of the tool, which can have the already ground program, and then using our scripting language, which is a fantastic feature of ours, effectively like the macro of Excel, but for our software. And what that allows you to do is to actually automate the compensation you need to apply to that type of cutting tool. So you can basically come in, do an inspection for chips, and then say, yep, no, it's good, scan it. It will know how many times it's been reground and what compensation to apply based on that. And so again, it reduces a number of the manual steps which can lead to waste. You can look at the different work holding solutions that we have. So for example, incorporating something like the GDS Shark adapter, which is a 5-door chuck, to reduce the setup time, which can also be quite painful in the regrinding process because you've got a mixed diameter, a lot of tools that you have to regrind. So yeah, there's a number of different technologies. It's been true forever that every minute of the grinding time matters, and it is critical. But obviously with the current pressures that we're facing in terms of the increased cost of carbide and actually increased cost of everything, unfortunately, the throughput through the machine and the efficiency of that machine really has mattered more than it ever has before.